It is Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM, and at federal level, it's been an interesting week for the National Party, but our member for Mallee, the Nationals MP, Dr. Ann Webster, joins me on the line today, not to talk about the new leader of the Nationals and the new Deputy Prime Minister, but to talk about the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. Dr. Ann Webster, how are you?
Look, it's a $64 million question. I'm good. That will do.
Excellent. Look, we've got limited time today, and we will catch up in the future about the change in leadership and all those sorts of things. But today, we really want to focus in on the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, because I know yourself and a couple of your colleagues with the Nats have put your heads together, released a plan, and let's go through it. How did you come up with this?
Look, this has been actually over quite some time. Last year, you may or may not remember that my colleague Damien Drum and I brought a private member's bill about this whole issue to the lower house. And now, because we knew that the Inspector General legislation was coming to the Senate, it was an opportunity. Really, they come along very rarely when you're talking about water, to be able to suggest amendments or move amendments to the legislation. So this was the opportunity, and today, some have said, it's just because Barnaby Joyce is back in the leadership. No, it's not actually. The Senate team, the National Senate team, believed that this would not come up until August, until this morning. Suddenly, it was on the list. So they had to jump to and put these amendments to the Senate, and it has been debated there. My understanding is that they're in suspension at the moment about this, but meanwhile, we've come out and made the statement. So fundamentally, it's a response to all of the feedback that we've received from our communities. It's not just irrigators and farmers, it's communities that are hurting with what has been left of a patchwork quilt, really, of water availability. And that has, the plan itself was always designed to be flexible and adaptive, and now is the time to ensure that we get some flexibility in how it's being delivered.
It's a shame we have to waste time talking about the politics behind this, but we do, because you're right, Mark Butler's brought that up in the press today, that Barnaby Joyce has got his fingerprints all over this. Well, I'm glad you clarified the fact that no, this has been talked about for some time. How did it make its way into the House today? Who put it on the agenda, just out of curiosity?
Well, it will have been Senator Bridget McKenzie or Senator Perrin Davey. Both have spoken to it. I'm not sure of of who actually put it on the table. So we actually passed this. So just for your listeners, we agreed in the party room on Monday that this would be the National Party policy going forward. So that is to remove the 450 gigalitre up water, to remove buybacks, to enable new offset projects that don't take any more water but create greater efficiencies, and that no further water be taken when the Basin Plan concludes in 2024. So when that review occurs in that window, that there is just an agreement in legislation that we do not take any more water.
Okay, let's go through each part of those just quickly and have a look at them. In particular, removing 450 gigalitres up water. Now, what sort of impact is that going to have on people in the Mallee and even a little bit further up, maybe around the Riverina area of our service area as well? But, I mean, they have very similar needs and wants as people in your electorate there of Mallee. What sort of impact is it going to have for those people?
Well, what it means is that farmers in particular, but communities will have a sense of security and confidence in water capacity going forward. It will see the equivalent environmental outcomes for those who are particularly concerned about environmental outcomes. And that's the point, that this is actually about outcomes. It's not about numbers. And so we want to see the equivalent environmental outcomes achieved without requiring actual 450 gigalitres taken out of the river.
Yep, fair enough. Removing buybacks, again, will do something similar, provide some certainty, investment certainty for people involved in the industry, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. So the government, while the government policy isn't to purchase, it's still possible through legislation. So, for example, if Labor came back in, they could well up it to 4,000 gigalitres as opposed to the 2,7 that is current, or 2,750 that's currently in the Sustainable Diversion Limit Adjustment Mechanism for projects. And so what the Nationals are saying is that 2,100, which is how much has actually already been taken out, is enough. We don't need to take out any more. The environmental impacts can be found in other ways, through better infrastructure, through more efficient management. We're really very focused on that.
Sure. The no further water to be taken out of the basin plan when it concludes in 2024 is self-explanatory. We don't need to revisit that. But I think the most interesting point is the enable new offset projects. Now, clearly there are some offset projects already on the table, but technology is always changing in this space. It makes sense to me that this would be a perfect thing to build into any plan.
Look, it's true that is there. I'm just looking for how many. I know I actually got it in front of me somewhere. I think it's 36 projects currently there. And the point is that we don't want we want an extension so that state governments can deliver without increasing that amount. So it's at the moment, 2024, some state governments have said it's just not possible. We can't deliver those projects. So what we're saying is we think that the timing should be extended so that that can be managed with, again, better infrastructure, greater flexibility around the efficiencies that can be achieved.
Yeah, it's. It just makes total sense. And those 36 projects that are on the books right now, is there an opportunity that number could expand in the lead up to 2024?
Look, the Minister, I believe, is looking at all of that, and the point is that we don't want more water being agreed to. And look, I had the Swan Hill Mayor and CEO and Gunnewarra and Campaspe here today, and in Parliament House in Canberra. And when I told the Swan Hill Mayor Bill Moore about this, he said, "Oh, thank goodness, this is exactly." These are the measures that we have been crying out for. And we're hearing that over and over again. Thank goodness. So, we just need our coalition partner to come on board. We need the Liberal Party to agree to these changes. And,
Well, there's as you said before, there's the $64 million question. Are they going to come on board? How much pressure can the Nationals and constituents of the Liberals in rural and regional seats, such as Farrer and plenty of others that are held by the Liberals, put on the government to actually, or on the Liberal Party, to actually get on board?
Yeah, look, it's... I think that what they need to do, this is a highly emotive subject, and I understand that, and we are all out here fighting for our own electorate's interests. But, the science no longer supports South Australia's needing fresh water to flow out to the sea. That rising sea levels will mean that the South Australian lower lake system will not need that environmental water. And upstream environments like the Goulburn River in Victoria are being seriously damaged trying to deliver large volumes of water to South Australia. So, the ecologists are saying that our Ramsar targets need to be amended, and I think that all of that together means that we have colleagues in the Liberal Party that we are urging to really rethink this and relook at this, because it's not, as I said earlier, not just our irrigators who are suffering here, it's our whole community.
Exactly right. It's a complicated issue, this one that we need to continue to investigate, and we will with you in the future. And all the best. Thank you for explaining that for us today. We'll let you get back into the chamber. Thanks again.
Thanks so much.